Okay, good evening and welcome, and thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, this evening. Welcome to the late one, and tonight is a very good night, very cool in the UK. Temperature is smashing. What can I say? We're hoping that it will get into the whole area of summer, you know. But anyway, this is the new week, Thursday night. We're talking about near to the end of the week, where we look at some of the top news of the week and trying to pick out which are some of the key ones. And what I picked out as the two of the top key news of this week really is one, the Rwanda bill, which has been passed by the UK, the House of Lords, and also the UK votes. If one is not sure, one is not aware, there is an election next week. What is it? Is it May the 2nd? And for the lots of mayors and the GLA, and of course, one would never know that there's so many different candidates. We're going to look at some of that tonight, and there are much more things in the news. Like Harvey Weinstein, believe it or not, is whole case has been overturned as well. That is a very interesting one as well. So yeah, so this is a great week, and let's look for, and also, of course, I'm not going to touch into this really. I'm going to touch on that Saturday night, but you got Jamaica. We talk about the DPP, where the ruling which was made by the Constitutional Court that her extension of her contract was ultra virus and somewhat deemed to be not right or illegal. So therefore, she had to step aside, and now there's someone else. And of course, everybody's up in arms about that. The Bar Council in Jamaica is up in arms about that. What did it mean? Some are saying the acting DPP. Why should the acting DPP be there also? Some are, the government is actually saying, I'm going to appeal the ruling of the Constitutional Court. Yeah, and then of course you have the diaspora conference, which is due to come on the June the 16th to the 19th, and you have the big palaver, which is also happening there. The big palaver, which is happening there. So but I want to talk, and I'm gonna invite. I'm expecting to get Gary, and I'm expecting to get Herbert as well to join tonight. But I'm going to bring in, sometimes we're not hearing from the conservative voice as to, talking about this Rwanda bill. This is where how the UK is trying to stop the illegal immigrants from coming to the UK via the boat. And also, lots of them are going via Calais, as well via France. And there's a way they're trying to use Rwanda as a deterrent. Is it a deterrent? You know, is Rwanda safe? And then a big question again is, what is wrong with Africa? Is it? What is wrong with Africa? The other question is, what are the options? Are there any other options that is out there by Labour, options by the Green, options by the Lib Dem? What are the different options out there? And of course, the massive amount of housing which has been given, but also we're talking about people who may be running away from atrocities, running away from death, and maybe they are scared of maybe going back to where they're coming from. So therefore, is the deal with Rwanda safe? That's a big question. Is it safe? I'm going to have my Caribbean conservative friend. How are you today?
Hello, I'm
Hello,
good,
I'm
thanks.
good, thanks.
Fantastic. Um, I just had wanted someone from the conservative, friend of the Caribbean conservative or so, to really um, talk about this bill. The big question is: do you think the bill was right to be passed, or it should have stayed back and forth, juggling back and forth, and then died its natural death?
I
I
think
think it,
Sorry, I can hear myself, but my voice is reverberating.
Okay, well,
It's a little off-putting. I don't know if that's a mistake. Or is
okay,
it at
okay.
my end, maybe? I don't
I
know.
think it's you're in.
Oh dear.
Check to see if you've got something else on or that a link open. Maybe it's come up twice or so. I always say sometimes that it is great sometimes that you can hear yourself twice because because some people can't hear themselves at all.
I'll just have to live with it for now.
Is it that bad? Okay, go ahead.
It's
Yes,
not
yes.
too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bill went back and forth enough times, and I think the country at large was getting very frustrated about that as well because of the consequences of having, you know, so many an influx of people, and that means an influx of you know it's a burden on the resources, I guess you could say. And so something had to be done. And of course, it's not that people aren't going to be screened and whatnot. That's still going to happen, isn't it? That's still going to be the case.
Yes. Yeah, you're right about that. What you're saying is that people will still be even so the bill may pass, but also there's going to be issues whereby individual cases may be going to the court.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone just said a while ago on TikTok, it's a criminal offense to enter any country illegally. A criminal offense.
Which is very true, apart from in the UK and other places in Europe, it seems not, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It seems it's okay to enter there, but anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many islands and countries around the world you can't just go there and live there. You have to. There's so much red tape and protocol before you can even think of living there. So I don't understand why a certain amount of countries have been chosen to bear a full burden. Yeah. Maybe they think we can afford it. Maybe they think that, our money supply is endless, our resources are endless. But they definitely aren't.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what is it? The Rwanda bill finally became law after a parliamentary showdown in the House of Lords, and the plan to send some asylum seekers to Africa have been met with fierce criticism, but the bill passed on Monday when the Lords dropped their opposition. And Sunak said in a statement, as Prime Minister Sunak, nothing will stand in our way now of getting flights off the ground. They said, but the scheme could still be held up by challenging the courts. Ahead of the bill passing, the Prime Minister said flights to Rwanda would take off within 10 to 12 weeks, missing his original spring target. Many people are saying it's not a deterrent because is it deemed a deterrent when in comparison to the amount of people coming in or people here? How strong is a deterrent it is?
I didn't know that that was the case or could be the case. I think it's a step in the right direction. Even if it's a deterrent, it's a step in the right direction.
Yes. Because the big question also is, and I always ask this question, what is wrong with Rwanda? Is there anything wrong with Rwanda? Is there anything wrong with Africa? I mean, what's your take on Rwanda? Rwanda is a prosperous, shining light amidst the past.
I don't think there was anything wrong with Rwanda. I just think that a certain demographic didn't want this to go ahead. So how can we stop this going ahead? We can deem Rwanda unsafe or whatever it was they were doing it, because I don't think it's an unsafe country anyway. I looked it up, it's not under the unsafe label. But I think there was so many things they were throwing at it that they could say, this isn't going to work, we don't want Rwanda, it's not going to work, and then passing the ball back and forth.
Well, what do you think are some of the oppositions that are coming through, or what have been some of the solutions that have been offered, if anything? Has there
There
been
were
any?
no solutions offered.
No
That's the thing,
solution.
isn't there? Even in the debating chamber and the Prime Minister's question times and all that, which I watch now and again, the, the opposition were being asked constantly, what are your solutions then? And there was silence. All they could do was, denigrate what the Conservative Party was trying to do and trying to resolve a major issue, which it is, by the way. And so met with silence, offered no solutions whatsoever. What do you do with that?
Right. So no clear solutions, but clear opposition, and what some of the proponents for the bill are actually saying is that this sort of operation feeds into many ways. It feeds into the big bills for lawyers. It feeds into the big bill for what should I say? The persons who are behind it, the people smugglers. They're all making a big bill of this whole thing. The housing.
From the truck drivers to the dinghy boat operators to lawyers and whoever else could be involved. Yeah, there was a whole chain there of people profiting and working together to smuggle these people in. Clear up all their paperwork. Nobody knew who they were, therefore they couldn't be traced or things couldn't be looked into in the normal steps that it should have been. So I think the only opposition was because it would stop people making millions of pounds that they have been making. There wasn't no other reason. I don't recall any other reason. There was no reason given. There was no, just a lot of like, when they're in the debating table, just lots of booing and berating, you're racist, blah blah. The usual things you get. There was nothing concrete said. There was nothing concrete to say why this can't happen.
But what about Suella Braverman? She said it's flawed. She said it's flawed, Suella Braverman.
She did. She was always in opposition, wasn't she, with Rishi Sunak, as far as I could see. They were working together, and then at one point they sort of started having differences of opinion, slight differences of opinion. It depends when it was flawed over, I suppose, or what she thought it was flawed over.
Right, because she said it is flawed and it's not going to work. It's like they need to operate in a sense. I think she was saying operate in the sense of Europe, whereby they stop it from that angle there, from the Europe side. It's
as far as I'm aware, I'm sure there was a sting in Europe where they traced truck drivers and whatnot to Europe, and there was a lot of arrests made. This was a few months ago.
Yeah.
She could have been on about that side of that side of the operation, should you call it. Yeah, but there was quite a lot of arrests. They were all the people traced to Europe.
You see, some other thing which I said is that they said we introduce the Rwanda bill to deter vulnerable migrants from making perilous crossing and break the business model of the criminal gangs who exploited them. I recently saw a story which was on the news of recent days, whereby they were watching on the beach there in Calais, and I believe someone died or so, if I'm not mistaken. On the same day that the bill was passed, someone died as well, which was really unfortunate, And but they're saying that the passing of this legislation will allow us to do that and make it very clear that if you come here illegally, you'll not be able to stay. And our focus is now to get the flights off the ground. The Labour Party, Yvette Cooper, called the Rwanda plan an extortionate, expensive gimmick. Expensive gimmick. Charities have also hit out at the scheme, with leading human rights group describing it as a breach of international law. Thompson Mines and Collis on Monday morning, a group of about 30 migrants boarded a small boat on the beach and could be seen headed out into the channel towards the UK. It's like all roads lead to the UK. I guess the UK is very attractive, isn't it?
Attractive and a money maker as well. It's an attractive money maker. I don't think wanting to secure your borders and make sure your society is livable. I wouldn't call that a money making scheme or against. What about against British people's human rights? What about the attacks that have been happening? Killings, stabbings, rapes, these are real things that have been happening. You can't push that aside, and you can't not listen to what the British people actually want. And because it's not just me here sitting here talking to you about this. The majority of people want a safer Britain. Nobody's saying zero migration, but the migrants that aren't coming here under false pretenses and have a criminal past as well, because that's also the issue. Without the screening which hasn't been going on, we don't know who we're letting into the country, what kind of background they have.
Yes.
And if they're safe in our society, like I said earlier, people can't go to the Caribbean and other places and just dump themselves there. That would not happen. And if in those countries you were doing something underhand, they would treat you as they would have to under those kind of circumstances if you do criminal activity and whatnot. Like a lot of people come here and form gangs, and there's lots of gangs stuff going on, isn't there? Bribery, corruption.
Yeah. Well,
smuggling lots of whatever people smuggle these days.
Okay, let me just check something here. I just want to check something, and I might have to. Gary, how are you, Gary?
Not bad.
Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clearly. Yes.
But you're hearing an echo on our guest.
I'm hearing echo on your guest.
And yourself as well, Gary. I think you're echoing as well.
All right, I tell you what you do, yeah. Caribbean Conservative. What I ask you to do is if you can come back in, yeah. I'm gonna.
Shall I click the leave button?
No, just. I'm gonna take you out.
Oh, I see.
And then you just come back in as all you did before. Yeah.
Okay.
And when you do it, just check your. Are you on a computer or phone?
Phone.
You're on the phone. Just check to see if there's any thing open or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Cheers. Hey, Gary, how are you doing?
Not bad.
Good. Is it clear? Is there any echo or anything, Gary?
I'm hearing an echo.
You're hearing an echo when you speak?
When I answer you, I'm hearing myself.
You're hearing yourself. Well, at least you can hear yourself. Some people can't hear themselves.
No, but it's an echo.
I see. Let me check something here, Gary.
It's a new way of coming in.
Is it what?
It's a new way of coming in because when I went this year, I had to go either by YouTube or by Facebook.
What you're saying? This is a new way of you coming in? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, you should. You should come in on the same way.
No.
You didn't come in on the same way?
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's very interesting. Maybe they changed up something. Let me check something with Cameron. Hi, can you hear me? Is it still echoing?
The echo for me has completely. Oh, no, it's still no.
It's gone. Your echo is gone?
It's still there.
It's still there. Yeah, I do notice something there. Maybe the platform which I'm using, Restream, maybe they have done something. Because you're right about that, Gary. You're trying to say that you came in via a YouTube. Yes? different
So
times.
there were two trucks, either
Right.
by you or by Facebook.
Oh, that's very
And
interesting.
told YouTube.
Is that the same thing that happened with you, Kevin Conservative?
I came into YouTube as well, yeah.
Yeah, someone and
Gary's also reverberated.
yeah, someone is saying here that the echoing is very terrible as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that? Can you hear me though? Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What can I say? What can I say? Gary, how are you?
Well, I'm all right.
Yes. I'm sorry. I do apologize for listeners if they are getting any. I know people on TikTok are okay because they're hearing me clearly. Gary, you know the recent bill that just passed, Rwanda bill. I know we have talked about it a lot of times, and we are saying that. I think we're saying it wasn't going to happen, but it has happened.
Yes, it does happen.
So you see planes ready to fly over to Rwanda. What's wrong with Rwanda?
My issue on the whole thing
Yes.
is that they came here. They didn't come here to go to Rwanda.
Yes.
If they wanted to go to Rwanda, they would have done there themselves.
Mm-hmm. What do you say about that, Mark Carabin concert? What do you say about that? If they didn't want
can't really hear what Gary's saying.
Okay, I tell you what he said. He said they didn't come here. They didn't come to the UK to go to Rwanda. They came to the UK to come to the UK.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So and what he's saying is that Gary, sorry, go on.
I guess he's saying they've come to UK, so are you saying, Gary, that they should be able to stay there regardless?
I didn't hear that.
She said, "Are you saying that they should stay here regardless?"
They should stay here. I mean, put yourself in the situation. You leave from wherever you're going to go to the UK or to the US. You reach the US only to be told that you're going to be sent to South Africa. Now you paid so much money to come to a different place that you want it to be.
Yes.
And then
these are illegal migrants. So we're talking about not the refugees that have been invited over or expected. These are illegal migrants that are just coming up to the beaches, and then once they're there, they say we're seeking asylum and still have to be processed anyway. So I think that's what. So the issue is, while they're being processed, everything costs money as well. It's millions of pounds a day, isn't it? So all these things are adding up. And also, if they're proven to not be eligible to be here, should we be footing these bills that we can't afford? We can't even afford to house our own anymore. I mean, the doctor, the waiting list for doctors, the waiting list for hospitals and dentists. But good news on the dentist one, because there were people, I do remember reading that all over the UK, people complaining they couldn't get a dentist appointment. And within the last few months, at least 5 or 6 dentists have opened up on my high street, just like that. And that's the government sorting the issue out and helping the British people get the help they need. I mean, things like teeth can lead to bad health if they're not looked after. So that has been sorted. But these things cost money. Are we supposed to just keep doing this with we don't have a never-ending kitty though, do we? And also people getting housed. So many people I know that have been on the housing list for 10, 20 years are now being told they will never, ever get a council house or get a bigger house if they've got 4 children in one room, which I knew one lady that did have that. And she's like 20 years later, she's still got 4 grown boys in one room in a 2-bedroom house. I think people are a bit fed up about that. People pay their taxes, people do all these things. I've been on the housing list just to be told you're never going to get a place. Just put up with that 1 bedroom with your 4 large boys in there now and be happy.
Yeah, I mean, well, before I address that, whatever you're doing, Sylbourne, I think you kind of fixed it.
It worked. Okay.
Whatever you've done, because I don't.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds better. Yeah. Well done, Sylbourne.
I'm the engineer. I'm the geezer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to say, to address what you've just said, Caribbean conservative, is that I think a lot of what has happened with the Conservative Party, and I'm a conservative, I would never vote Labour. I've never voted Labour. But you see, the reason why I believe that the government has been able to address this, or to address the point that you've done within the last 6 months or a year now, is because of the elections that they are hoping to announce, so that at least it will bring the population on side, because things have not been going well for the Conservative Party. I'll own up to that. Things have not gone well for the Conservative Party. You've got MPs, Conservative MPs, that are now stepping aside, stepping down, or resigning. So that's not looking very good for us as a Conservative Party. Even the Prime Minister, to some extent, he is in a very precarious position, because there's not many MPs within the Conservative Party that wants him there anyway. And I would prefer, I think he's doing a very good job. I would prefer him more than Boris Johnson, because he seems to have more of a business attitude and a business acumen, and he has really done his best to address the business of the country. Now, that's me. Not everybody would agree with what I'm saying, and I don't expect a lot of people to agree with it anyway. But then on the other hand, I really believe that whether it was the Conservative and or the Labour Party that was in government, anybody that decides to come to this country, or to go to any country for that matter, is not then looking to be passed on to another country, because everybody knows that they're illegal immigrants. I don't think that they are oblivious to the fact that they are illegal. Yes, they are illegal, and they know they're illegal, but they've come here, I believe, to a country that will help them to some extent to better themselves. Now, we know that we've got all sorts of people coming in. There are those who will want to do the best that they can for themselves and their families that they've left. We know that we've got those that will come in to cause havoc and just to live on the state and cause more hardship for everybody else. But we can't always look on that and say, well, we're going to push everybody out and put them back. As a good example, Rwanda. I would never support that. I wouldn't support it with the Conservative Party, and I certainly wouldn't support it even if it was the Labour Party who was doing it. So I think that they should be allowed. They should be allowed to come here and to. There are some who, if they can prove that they are here to help to better themselves and those that they've left behind, either a wife or children or parents or grandparents, Some are living in terrible situations, horrible situations. But they've come here. I know that probably one cannot compare it, and it's a bad comparison, but it's like our parents and grandparents who came to this country. Now, we know that a lot of them left the West Indies because they were invited here to help the mother country.
And they came in legally.
And they came here legally. Right, it's a bad comparison. But I'm just trying to say they came here legally to better themselves and to better the family that they were leaving behind, and even to bring over children and some families there. Everybody, for whatever the reason, whatever the situation, that's what everybody does. And I believe that wherever these people are coming from, to reach the shores of the United Kingdom, only to be told that they're going to be shipped off to Rwanda, which in the very first instance, probably where they started, they were closer to Rwanda than now. They didn't want to go to Rwanda. They want to come to the UK. I think they should be allowed to come to the UK and to stay here. I believe
while they're going through the process, the immigration processing. That's what.
Yes.
But Gary, have you considered the whole point whereby they said 52,000? There are 52,000 people in this pool that are in the country to a certain extent, and the housing crisis and the housing issues is also something which is fundamental, and also the fact that they are coming from, I think what they're saying is that they're coming from Calais, they're coming from France, they're coming from places which are safe zones, even though they came from their different countries. What is the relationship with France and Europe then in that base is in Caribbean conservative? I mean, what is Europe saying about that? Europe should play a fundamental role there at the same time.
The thing is, they have been trying over the years, and people, and nothing had changed. The situation didn't change, basically. I know that the Rishi Sunak was trying to work with the French, weren't they, at one point last year? And that all fell through as well, because the smuggling kept going on. So no matter what you try, whatever the party was trying to put in place, the smuggling issue was usurping that. And that has been the case until now. That's why I guess they went for this measure, because it's the only thing that could viably work, because everything else can be usurped. But I agree with Gary on Rishi Sunak doing a really good job. I mean, the inflation, that's, he did what he set out to do. That's amazing. Much more money in people's pockets and all that. Lower taxes here and there. So yeah, he's done definitely a lot of good. And I think he's the man to carry on, because this is how I feel. He's the man to carry on with this path that he's on, because he's heading in the right direction. But I feel that if Labour were to win, they would do what Labour do and start overspending, to putting in policies that will only help their own rather than the actual UK, which Rishi Sunak does not help. Rishi Sunak is doing blanket policies that is helping everybody. And that's what I think is fantastic about him. His policies are universal across the country, whereas I think Labour can be quite divisive in their policies. And I'm just hoping that they don't. Should I go as far as to say they may ruin the country again? I said it.
What you're actually saying, you don't want a situation whereby another letter is passed on to an incoming government to say there's no money in the kitty. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, give it a few years down the line. I mean, their heart's in the right place, but when it comes, they just spend on all these things. Will they resolve the housing crisis? Will they put people back onto the housing list that have been patiently waiting for 10 odd years and all that? They won't, will they? Because their priorities will be to house the migrants over everybody else. There should be an orderly queue, but there isn't. I think Labour will always have their priorities in the wrong place, because they think in terms of, oh, but is this about human rights? But we all have human rights. We all have to be able to live in a place where it's not about luxury. It's about living in a place that's suitable. You can't have 4 kids in a 1-bedroom flat and say that's suitable.
Yeah. So with let's move on quickly. The London mayor election. Do you think somehow what Rishi Sunak is doing, and people are seeing that he's doing a fantastic job. He's a businessman. He's level-headed. He's very firm. The London mayor elections. What do you think? You think that he's going to get back in?
Is this towards me?
Yeah. But Gary, I know Gary's in the Midlands, but he always say, "Why do we?"
All right. Sorry, I didn't realise.
Why do we in London keep asking?
Do I think he'll get in? I think, from what I've seen online, a lot of people are reluctant to vote for him, so they're looking for alternatives, and that leaves the door open to votes being split, I suppose, things like that.
Yes.
So who knows? But I have read that, I've seen with my own eyes online that a lot of people are, because of, I guess, not just ULEZ and other things like that, but also that his policies don't help every Londoner. They help certain aspects of London, but not everybody. And I think people want a fairer mayor that has blanket policies for London that will help everybody thrive in London. And everybody isn't thriving in London. I watched the hustings, the LBC hustings, the 18 minutes short one. And he was saying about poverty and helping, 75% of homeless people and whatnot. And he's trying to say it's just a Labour thing, a London Labour thing. And it's not, because I know all around London, us Conservatives have been setting up soup kitchens. A lot have been working with crisis. A lot have been working with shelters and sharing numbers to get homeless people helping off the streets. So it's not, he's taken all the credit for that. And he shouldn't be, because I've been out there during winter, during spring, helping, soup kitchens and helping campaigns and going up to people and telling them that there's shelter, here's a number for a shelter, etc. Yeah. We've all been doing it. And also with the knife crime thing, a lot of Conservatives in London have had to let the police know about the crime levels, because Labour certainly weren't doing it. Where I live, listen to this, and this is quite outrageous. Where I live, I went to to my local station, tube station, and there was lots of crime. There was people on drugs. There was people staggering around, and I'm not well, and somebody was nearly falling all over me when they were asking me for money, and I had to sort of wobble off to the doctors where I was going to at the time, and I was quite, not scared, but just scared for my health, because if somebody was to fall on me and this guy was right over me, I can't push this person off, or I'm just going to fall on the ground and probably knock myself out or something. So it was this was one day, there was lots of people like that around the tube, and there was the council workers with their green badges, and I thought they were there to see what was going on and then to contact the police and clear the station up. So a week later, it was exactly the same scenario. So I went home and called the police, because I saw women being scared at the station, being followed by men begging for money, and these women were running, looking aghast. And I said to the police, did the council not call you? Because I saw council workers there, and they said, madam, you're the first person to have ever called us about this. I said, are you kidding me? I've seen women running. I've seen the council workers literally outside staring at all this going on, and nobody called you? They said, no, madam, you're the first. We haven't had a call about this ever. And ever since then, they've been cleaning up the area, getting the police in. doing patrols, making sure everybody's safe. And that was a Conservative thing. It definitely wasn't a Labour thing. And I know other Conservative associations around London have also equally done the same thing as I had to do, because Labour weren't certainly doing it, neither them nor the councils. And they've taken all the credit that's going on in London. They keep taking the credit for these things. And I can say, because I'm an activist and I'm always out there, they cannot take credit for these things.
Thanks for that. Gary, what do you say about that? The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, there's going to be around 12 other candidates that he's going to be running against. Femi Amin from the Animal Welfare Party, Count Binface from for Mayor of London, Robbie Blackie, Lib Dem, a young lady named Natalie Denise Campbell, I know her, she's independent, she's black, Howard Cox, Reform UK, London Deserves Better, Amy Gallagher, Social Democratic Party, Zoe Garbett, Green Party, Taron Gulati, Independent, Susan Mary Hall, Conservative Party, Sadiq Khan, Labour Party, Andreas Mitchley, Independent, Brian Benedict, London Real Party, Transform London, and Nick Scanlon, Britain First, No to Immigration. Gary, do you think they're going to get rid of Sadiq Khan? Back up Sadiq Khan?
They need to. London needs to get rid of that man. They need to. You see, again, what may happen, and I agree, and I understand with what it's a pity I don't know the young lady's name, but anyway, Caribbean Conservative. But anyway, I agree with what she's saying, and I understand with what she says. You see, he's brought in so much money through what he's doing. Is that will anybody really come in and do anything about it? That's the next thing, because he brought in millions of pounds with this illegal way of taxing the drivers. I used to live in London, moved out of Birmingham, moved out of London, lived in Birmingham. Every time I go into London, before I get to London, I'm paying £12.50.
Yes.
Right now, and then it's £12.50 per day. And if I want to go into the city, it's another taxation. Never mind the road tax I have to pay on top of that. I mean,
and also, Gary, if you have a heavy feet, I'm gonna go press gas more than 20 mile zone.
I mean, that's tickets, man. No, it's ludicrous, and the thing about it too, and everybody's got to understand this, that just because you can go out there and buy an electric car and thinking that you are going to be green friendly, let me tell you something. They're just as crazy as the man who saw it and is trying to say that everything is green. You're not green. You're not green. You're just as pollutant as the person who has a fossil fuel car. I will never buy electric car. I would never do it, because the thing about it, electricity or batteries do not work if there is a cold snap. Electric cars or the batteries will not work or will not charge properly. That's number one. Number two, the infrastructure alone for to support the electric cars that they're hoping to sell is not there. It's going to take years.
To implement the infrastructure, they need to build pylons.
Exactly.
And the pylons will be the pylons will be the amount of pylons that have been made in the last 30 years. They want to try and do in 5 years. That's a crazy amount as well. But I think hybrid cars are the popular choice, aren't they, for this situation? People are stopping buying electric and choosing hybrids for the very reason you've just said, Gary, that at least they've got an option.
No,
If,
I understand. Yes, I mean
yeah.
hybrid cars probably are the better cars to get.
Mm.
Are the better cars to get. But Sadiq Khan, he needs to go. And you Londoners, you need to get him out. You need to do something. And I don't know. You see, by the very fact you're either going to split the vote or not at all doesn't
Yeah.
bode at all. It doesn't say that that will get him out. You may get a lower attendance as far as the voters out, but that will not guarantee that he's out. And he needs to come out, man.
And nobody's even talking about the price of rental. You know, the rental shops on the high street, businesses have to move out because the prices are so high. And then you're finding these random shops being set up in there. So businesses that have been open for 20 or 10, 20, 30 years are all having to close down because they can't afford the rent.
Exactly.
And also businesses have shut down because of the LTNs, because they can't do deliveries, and they've all got, so many businesses have gone bust, haven't they, as well? No one's talking about that. I know they were previously, but that's still an issue. And on the campaign trail, so many people coming up to us saying how they've just had to close their business down the other day, and that I thought they'd find solutions, but there was no solution. They just literally had to close. So many things have happened with people's businesses and their income because of these LTNs, because of the issues.
Yeah, it has been really
and high prices as well.
Yeah, it has really been confusing with the LTN. Many people have peed off by it. Even in the zone where I'm at, it's a total labor zone, and like people just accept it. It's like people are just accepting these things. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sadiq can come back in the pub, because of the unfortunately the mindset of persons. But if people go for some of these independent, that can, because the voting system changed recently, didn't it?
In what ways, Sylbourne?
Yeah, I think you had to vote for 2 or 3 choices, but now it's just one.
Okay, right.
Yes,
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's a different thing. And find out about your elections. What is it? Deadline to apply for free vote. Okay, voting in person, vote by post, apply to vote by proxy. But there's been some changes to the way our voting goes, and of course you got to have an ID, I believe.
Yes.
Now.
I mean, if those changes are to make sure that votes are above board, then I don't see an issue with that.
Yes. How do I vote in election? So that's May the 2nd. May the 2nd. Actually, I got my postal vote. I'm going to drop that in. I make sure that I drop that in. Of course, if you forget your postal vote, you can always take it into the polling station as well. And now this is going to lead towards, I think this election will sort of send another signal to the government as to the thinking as to a general election, don't you think, as well? Because the signs are on the wall that the Conservative is aiming for defeat. But I believe the signs were on the wall when there was Ed Miliband that the Conservative was going for a defeat. I believe the signs were on the wall that when Jeremy Corbyn was there, that the Conservatives were going for a defeat. But what happened at those 2 times?
What I find amazing is the amount of good stuff that's Rishi Sunak has done, and we can't judge him on his predecessor because he's now a new leader. He's now a new leader. So what was being done previously and what is being done now are 2 different things. So I don't think they can hold us to account for that, and they need to look at the merit of what he has been doing and vote on that. Because all I keep hearing is, "Oh, you Conservatives, you did this," and I'm going, "That was 5 years ago. This is a new This is a new leadership. So therefore, it's technically a new government."
What about what about what people say that I didn't vote for? It is about 144,000 people. Is it conservative
You
people?
mean when they say he's not my lead, we never voted him in? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. You know, it was the Tory gang, that brought that all these different leaders.
I guess if ever the time comes and they're going to be voting for a new leader, then I guess that will be a way of
cementing it,
sorting that out.
Yes, definitely.
As long as he's doing a good job, I think he's doing a good job. So therefore, I think it's if he was doing silly policy, like I like to call it, but he isn't doing silly policy. He's doing really good policy. I just remember, whenever there's a new leader, there's always, as soon as they sit in that seat, there's people ready to oust them, no matter who they are. The second they're in that seat, it's fair game to get him out of that seat, and that happens to every single prime minister that ever sits in that seat. We know that happens, so it's not anything new at all, is it?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for that, and we'll move on just quickly before we go. Have you guys heard about these horses running through London? Gary, you heard about these horses running through London?
I heard about it. I just thought it, quite strange, really. What happened? Where the policemen, were they thrown off?
Gary, if I was there, I would be able to tell you. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that these horses were just galloping, and I don't know. I don't know. It will sound like there's something in the air, you know. Like there's something in the air. It was just really strange. These horses, and one running with blood. It reminded me of that movie that recent movie with Obama did, with the ships coming in on the land, and there were these reindeers or so. It's like something out of mystic elements. I don't know.
It could have been, what do you call it, when they do a test? What's it? I hate my brain when it stops thinking. I think it was a run through or something, like some standard stuff. Because just remember, back in the day, there was always horses around London, galloping in the park, down the road. Horses were a normal fixture in London. Running is different. Galloping through the streets is a little bit different. But I grew up around seeing horses and all sorts of things like that. It's just, I think it's cool. I think it's London, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know about the galloping. It
says horses bolted through central London in a serious condition as well, you know. So that and have you heard about this guy named Harvey Weinstein? The guy's been they actually overturned his rape conviction.
Did they?
Yeah. But actually, let's say that is one of them. One of the rape convictions are so like that, you know. A crazy world.
I read that just before I came on here. I saw that as well. Yeah. He's still going to be in prison though for some other charges.
Yes.
But a lot of people are going to be saying that's dismissing all the victims. That's dismissing their feelings and whatever. It's because in the court case, the judge did something wrong. Therefore, the case has been deemed, whatever that word is, that on something or other. Yeah, so he got let off because of the judge's error. And then I read the comments which were saying, how much was the judge paid?
Yes, because what is
and also on how much money changed hands and stuff like that. Yes. You always got to read the comments when you're reading these things, because they tell you exactly what people think. And this is what I think. What we think people think and what people really think is such two different things. People are so clued up, you know. They tell it as it is in the comments, and they don't mince their words as well. And it tells you what society really wants as well. Society aren't stupid. They want change. They don't want to be subjugated. They don't want to be under a global, you know, some global policies are good, but global policies that are money makers and are that are impoverishing us isn't what society wants. Society wants policies that make people thrive.
Yes, you want people. They want policies that are plus factors that are making it
Thriving and healthy people, not
Yeah.
impoverished people getting sick of toxic foods that are slowly killing us.
And that is so interesting about toxic food. We were talking about it the other day, whereby years ago they were showing some images of people that they were slim and trim, but now people are sort of, you know, the food, what is in the food and so like that. It is it's strange and it's crazy to a certain extent, you know. But
you'd think that if they want to sell food, they'll make it so that people don't get sick and bloated off it, and it's causing a lot of inflammation. And inflammation, as we know, is bad for the body. And this is what I've read by the mass consensus of society that is out there. Why aren't the government doing anything about our food standards anymore? It's like food standards have gone out the window. Toxins are allowed in food. Complaints are being not listened to. There's so many issues that easy things that could be changed to make our food chain better.
Yes. Well, anyhow, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight and for breaking it down, especially with the Rwanda bill. I believe sometimes one is not hearing a conservative voice or thinking on this area. We're normally hearing the other side. And I believe that all voices need to contend and to hear what happened. In the Weinstein case, what they said, the New York Court of Appeal said prosecutors in the pivotal Me Too case called witnesses whose accusations were not part of the charges against him. And the court said that meant he was unfairly tried for past behavior and ordered a new trial. However, he remains in prison. He was separately convicted of rape in LA. This reminds me of the case which was in Jamaica regarding what's his name? Vibes Cartel, where it went to the Privy Council, and the Privy Council sort of what they said, they sent it back to the Court of Appeal in Jamaica to see if they're going to have a new trial or let Vibes Cartel walk, and that was because of how things were done as well. Things weren't done properly. So therefore, the big question now is that a lot of people are apparently languishing in jail now because of bad judicial practices as well. Gary, any last word?
Not at all, my brother. Not at all. I think that in regards to in regards to Weinfeld or Weinstein or whatever his name is, I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing surprises. And I think that if he gets out even before he's supposed to, then, you know, it just proves that individuals with money, individuals with power, with influence, you know, they will always be a travesty of justice or injustice. And people will get out. I'm not surprised. I'd be surprised if he's free.
So what you're saying as well is that while he's there in prison, you got people working overtime at the same time, because this couldn't have happened out of the blue. You must have people have been working hard time on that. Caribbean Conservative, any last word before we go?
Not really. I think I've covered everything. Yeah. Yes, I just think the world's an interesting place. Not the kind of interesting I was expecting when I was a kid, but interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, it's very interesting because also not to go into it, but you know, you have that case recently of some girl 13 charged after school stabbings in Southwest World. A 13-year-old girl has been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder after 2 teachers and a people were stabbed at a school in Southwest World. And that's why I say, I just came back from Jamaica, and that's why I say one can speak very harsh of Jamaica in many different ways. But you know, when I went to Jamaica, the first day I was in Jamaica, I walk down in trees, me alone, just walk down there early in the morning, took my walks, and so like that. People say it is dangerous, but hey, the world has become a dangerous place at the same time.
Yes, it has.
It has. So the only thing we can do is trust God for His protection. I was listening to a radio station in Jamaica today, and a lady called in and said to the guy, "Oh, I'm one of your prayer partners. I pray for you. I cover you. I pray for the team. I pray for everyone." And the guy just looked up and said, "Thank you so much for that." Thank you so much for praying and cover, Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining. Gary and Karen Conservative, thank you so much for listeners, and for apologize for the first bit there. I saw what happened and I was able to fix it. I guess next time it'll be better, because you guys have not heard any echo, have you? Echo gone.
It's gone. Yeah, thank you for having me, Sylbourne.
Yeah, no
it's been
problem.
A pleasure.
Thank you so much for that. And see you around, okay? God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Gary, Brethren, I think Herbert is still on the housetop, on the rooftop or something like that. All right, Gary, you stay there. Don't move, yeah? You stay there. I'll come back to you. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the show. And sorry about earlier regarding we had that hiccup there. And I think there's something wrong with my lights as well. So just trying to sort out a few things, few itches, but you got to keep going on and keep being consistent, and then eventually it will all work out. You know what I mean? So Saturday night I'll be having Talk and Sip. I'm hoping to get some some car racers, some drivers from Jamaica should be on the show, all being well. They're in Germany, and I'm hoping they are Tammy Gore, Senna Summerball. These are in the German championship. These guys are car, race cars, Jamaican guys. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the dash for upcoming conference, and also I saw something a while ago that the RGD Registrar General, Mr. Charlton McFarlane, apparently the IC Commission, Integrity Commission, has actually reprimanded him for not making his declaration. I hope that he doesn't lose his job, because he's a great guy. Sometimes these things do happen. A lot of persons, the Integrity Commission is coming hard at a lot of these guys as well. And it's very clear that they need to be proper transparency and proper accountability as well. So peace out. Remember to like and share, and God bless you. Bye-bye.